I'm a pretty good swimmer, but this is just next level.
I don't know, I just pushed off with the waves. I tried coming back, but the waves kept pushing me further and further away.
So a lot of time people don't realise they're in trouble until they're actually in trouble.
There's no steward here. How come everyone else can hear me but you guys?
It will take anything with it. And if you cannot swim, you're going somewhere that you should not be. Yeah, I was terrified, but I learned my lesson. G'day everyone, it's Jeff here again from Bondi Rescue. Some may say, I may say, that I'm somewhat of a safety expert, and that's why I'm here today to teach you about rips and staying safe in rips, because this is the safety series.
Every year, over 12,000 people are saved from rips across Australia. 3,000 are saved at Bondi alone by lifeguards and volunteer lifesavers.
The rip at backpackers is pretty strong, and no different than all the rips. Most of the rips right along the beach are pretty strong.
A rip is just a passage of water moving back out to sea, because the water has to go somewhere. It came in and it's got to go back out. So it picks the deepest channel it can find and it makes its way back out to sea, back out to its home where it came from, and that is what we call a rip. People often use the phrase flash rip. Now what they'll be referring to is a rip that is not in a permanent position, a rip that starts semi out of nowhere. A few waves might break and the water just goes, you know what, I'm gonna nick off now. I'm gonna pop off right here. So that water just goes, hooroo, see you later, and goes back out to sea wherever it was, and then you can have a little flash rip that might only last 2 or 3 minutes, or even less.
The back of them flags, it's starting to get really strong, that rip. There's a lot of swimmers starting to go out to sea.
The clubbies are waving off the back of the flags again. Nicola, straight in front of you.
As I got out there, just more and more heads kept popping up, screaming for help.
Hold on.
Rips can be dangerous because people don't understand that there is a large volume of water moving back out to sea, and with that volume of water moving back out to sea, it will take anything inside it with it. And if you cannot swim, you're going somewhere that you should not be. There's a lot of ways to spot a rip. Most commonly, you'll have 2 sandbanks either side, waves breaking, that's the water coming in. And in between those sandbanks, we'll have our deep channel. There'll be what appears to be still deeper blue water, and that's where all that water is moving back out. But sometimes rips can be pretty hard to spot. You know, people that go to the beach all the time and think they know what they're doing, look for those obvious signs, and it can be a bit blurred, the lines can be blurred, but if you look for those signs, you got a head start.
I've noticed these 2 heads at third ramp, that's just to the right of the tower, and they're going down pretty quick, so I knew I needed to get there as quick as I could.
Just meters from shore, a couple have been overpowered by a surging rip, pulling them out to sea.
The best way to get out of a rip is to swim parallel to the rip. Now that is not to be confused with swimming parallel to shore, which is something that I see on the beach all the time. Rips don't always go straight back out to sea. Rips can go this direction, this direction, this direction. All you need to know is to get out of that rip is to go across parallel from the rip. So whatever direction that might be, it might be out to sea. Go that line. Or put your hand up because we're coming to get you. Your boy's coming. The first thing I think about when I think about rips is my dad. Why do you think about your dad when you think about rips, Jeff? Well, let me tell you why. Because Dad wanted to teach me the lessons I'm trying to teach you today when I was about 4 years old. He said, Jethro, come here, hold on to this bodyboard. And I said, where are we going, Dad? He goes, don't worry about where we're going, you're going. And he took me across. I thought it was all fun and games. We were on our little Christmas holiday. He took me to the corner where there was a permanent rip. And he was teaching a lesson to my sister and my brother at the same time, who knew what was going on the beach. And Dad placed me in the rip on my pink bodyboard and sent me. And I just went along the rocks at quite a pace. I was terrified. I was going further and further and further away. In my head, there was 6-foot waves breaking out the back. And he said, and Dad's just saying, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What are you doing? And I said, I'm not gonna do anything. And he's like, good. Hold on, see what happens. And I just went out in this rip along the rocks, and Dad just stood on the beach, and then the rip just plopped me out into the waves. I copped a few waves on the head, and it washed me back to shore. Yeah, I was terrified, but I learned my lesson. I didn't end up in the middle of the ocean. I'm still here today. And from that day on, I wasn't scared of rips.
3 swimmers caught in a rip struggled to get back to shore.
Do you need help? Okay, I'll take that as a yes.
Copy, Chapo.
Looks like 3 for 1.
My plan is to rescue all 3 people. If I need backup, I'll either wave or get someone's attention, or the tower will realise and send somebody else down. It's hard to bring 3 people in. It's almost impossible.
Arriving at the first patient, Chapo makes a critical decision. When the man indicates he's okay, Chapo decides the swimmer furthest out is in the most danger.
Chapo's got a girl, it seems.
With the young woman safely on board, the 2 men still need rescuing.
Thought I had a bit more time, but when I got back, one was in a bad way.
A volunteer lifesaver joins the rescue.
Clubby's gone out now.
The volunteer lifesaver rescues the man in most trouble.
Okay, buddy, you come over here.
Chapo decides the second man in goggles can make it back to safety on his own.
He looked like a swimmer. He had his goggles on, so I thought he was going to be okay.
Rough conditions make the rescues extremely difficult.
You know, you get the patient on the board, you're getting hit by waves. It's very easy to roll.
It's Leah's first time at Bondi, and her first time stuck in a rip.
There's another kid out there that needs to be saved now, and I feel bad they had to pick me up first.
While Leah is safely ashore, Chapo realises he's needed back in the water. The volunteer lifesaver struggles to bring in his patient. The second man has been unable to make it to shore.
I think he thought he could handle our ocean, but the rip was too strong and he was now in trouble.
A surfer has come to the rescue.
When there's waves and, you know, a lot of water moving, sometimes just doesn't go smoothly.
Relentless waves complicate the rescue.
Over we go.
After 10 minutes of chaos, Chapo finally gets the last patient back to shore. Troy is Canadian, living in Bondi. He was no match for the conditions.
I'm a pretty good swimmer, but this is just next level. The current here in Australia is one of a kind. I've never experienced anything like it before.
But it's 25-year-old student Aresh who was closest to drowning.
Do you want me to give you some oxygen for a little while? That might help.
But no, I just need to vomit it out.
Yeah, that's most probably a good thing to do. But what I'll do is I've got some oxygen that I can have on.
Aresh has swallowed seawater. He may also have ingested water into his lungs.
You gotta treat it pretty seriously, kind of think, doing it in an ambulance.
How sick do you feel? Yeah, is that it? Do you feel lightheaded?
I gave him oxygen and he was in quite a bad way. It took him a long time to get back to normal.
I don't know, I was pushed off with the waves. I tried coming back, but the waves kept pushing me further and further away.
You all right, mate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
3 swimmers back on shore. 3 lives saved.
Wow.
Everyone in this area, hey guys, out of the water. Have safe areas at the other end of the beach. This is just not safe.
I gotta go lie down.
Mid-afternoon, and Max monitors the north end.
Yeah, mate, it's flying out.
Yeah, I'm doing it, mate. I can see from here.
Experienced lifeguard Skeeny patrols the middle of the beach, 500 metres away.
This afternoon, we do have very, very tricky conditions. It's starting to go low tide now, so the water's really going to start running out through all these rips, and the rips are really strong today, so we'll see what happens. Might be a couple of little rescues on.
The north end is often safe for swimmers, but not today. Parallel to the rocks, a rip known as the Bondi Express is looking for passengers.
I was in the tower and I was just looking out and there was this little girl and she was in the rip and she was struggling.
It looks like the water is just rapiding through there.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump out quickly.
Is Max going in? Yeah.
Oh, it's a little girl as well.
Once the North Bondi Express gains momentum, it's impossible to swim against.
Hi, thank you so much.
Patrolling North Bondi alone, Max is responsible for the safety of hundreds of beachgoers. Within moments, he's back in the water.
Max is still out there, eh? Gone again.
I got back and I was looking out in that rip to see if anyone was in it, and there was 3 people in there and they were travelling really fast, so they were in a bit of trouble.
3 swimmers are 50 metres from shore and going out to sea.
Just relax. You know, buddy?
He's got 3 on there, eh?
The north corner rip is just really deep and the water is just flying out at the moment.
Central Ski.
Yeah, go ahead, flags.
You saw young Maxi back out there.
Yeah, I'll head down there now.
Yeah, might be good idea.
Deano and I, we've grown up around Maroubra. We're family friends and he's taught me a lot. I'm definitely very close with Skeeny.
The speed of the rip is visible from the tower as Max and the 3 swimmers are swept further out.
Well, I knew I couldn't have all 3 of them on the board.
Put 2 on, hanging on. 3.
I just asked him if he was a good swimmer and he said yeah, he could manage himself, so he swam off to the rocks. I just got the other 2 ladies, one on the front, one on the back.
He's gonna hellman it.
I hope he hellman.
He's going one at the front, one on the back.
The Hellman is a bold rescue manoeuvre for a first-year lifeguard.
So yeah, the Hellman is where you got one person on the front, like a normal rescue. You got a person on the back that you're gonna hold with your legs so they don't fall off.
He's got the hellman. I think Skeny's gonna go help him anyway.
I just remember seeing Jethro do it one time. I was like, oh, I'll give it a go. And so yeah, I just always thought about pulling it off and proving to the boys, proving to Jethro that I can do it as well.
I thought when I was racing out there that I definitely would have been grabbing one of the patients, because when you get 2 people, it can be really tricky.
Loaded with 2 people, Max sets himself up for the return trip.
Oh, you might get this out.
To be honest, when that wave started to grow in front of us, the girls started like screaming a little bit. I was just going, oh no, it's fine, but in the back of my mind, I was semi going, oh no, myself.
Oh my God,
he's done it.
Oh my God, he's done the hellman. Yes, mate. I'm trying to race out, and here comes Max doing the hellman, coming down a wave with a smile from ear to ear.
If I was Skeeny, I just let him go.
That was all time.
Seeing Skeeny flying out and he was going, you want me to take one? I was like, nah, mate, I've got this, eh?
Empty-handed, Skeeny checks no one else is in trouble.
Yeah, in a way I got snubbed, but it was a good snubbing.
Well done, Maximus. Well done.
We were just swimming and then we were chatting and then we got caught in a rip, and that was how easy that was to happen. I'm never going to go into a rip again.
Blokes with years of experience wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Throw one on the front, one on the back, leg lock and paddle in.
Yeah.
Killed it, mate. That was unreal. Max is one of those kids, I've known him since he was about 6 years old, and what he just done was a real good effort. I was proud of him. See you later.
So a lot of time people don't realise they're in trouble until they're actually in trouble. And from that happening, you can be drowning instantly.
Out of this area, it's too dangerous. There's no swimming in this area. Go up where everyone else is, another 15 metres.
Hundreds of swimmers are oblivious to the rips running out at low tide.
There's no swimming here. How come everyone else can hear me but you guys?
No one is paying attention. Chase and Tommy take drastic action.
Doing our maintenance on the beach, it's normally over the megaphone, but this day it just had to be warned straight in front of their faces, so they got the idea of how alarming it was for us.
Tommy, come in here. We're going to herd everyone up and just send everyone back onto the bank.
All I wanted is everyone out of those rips and just straight onto the sandbank where it was a lot safer and manageable for us.
Out of this area. Everyone get out of this area.
It was like talking to a brick wall.
Listening to him now, he's pushing him over on that bank, but he's just on swimming straight in.
It was an absolute nightmare.
Hey guys, hey, get out of this whole area, go down there. Wait, out of this area, it's too dangerous. So all these guys here, go that way for us.
Chase, I'd never worked with him before. He was just like a little whippet all day. There's not much of him. He was hurting people. He was just an absolute machine.
You guys swim that way, you'll be under the bank, you can stand straight away. You all right? Yeah. All good.
Swimmers are finally herded into the safety of shallow water. Scores of potential rescues have been prevented.
We're bugging. I can barely breathe. It all happened so quickly. We're an arvo.
Working with Tommy, I just had a great partner. The old boy still got it in him for sure.
I was really impressed by Chase, but, you know, I reckon I did all right for an old rookie.
I was in the South Tower, and I noticed these two swimmers in the south corner having a bit of a trouble to come back on the shore. I make a few announcements on the mega.
Yeah, just attention, these two swimmers in front there, guys. Hello?
They couldn't hear me. Suddenly, like, I watched on the other side of the reef, and there was a lady getting stuck in the middle of the backpackers reef.
Yeah, once again,
Mario fears the two swimmers will become separated and one board won't be enough. Backup is at the other end of the beach.
South Central also have another pier next off the Sandbank on backpackers, but the other two, they don't make any progress or any someone going on here.
Maxi must travel nearly a kilometre to assist Mario.
So a lot of time people don't realise they're in trouble until they're actually in trouble. And from that happening, you can be drowning instantly. You're in that channel for a longer period of time, and that's where you can drown as well.
Kino and Seta are a mother and son on holiday from Sweden. Unaware that no flags means no swimming, they entered the water in South Bondi believing it was safe.
That's the dangerous currents of the beach. And my mother got stuck there, and I swam in to assist her, warn her about it. I think she didn't realize that it could be that strong.
It's sort of a lesson for them, you know, to be rescued.
No, I think I could understand that a bit so danger, yeah. So I just swim.
I knew I can't swim, but it's ocean.
But yeah, lucky for them we're here.
Yeah, we'll definitely be careful.
Yeah, of course.
He's not breathing and doesn't have a pulse. 20 minutes after lifeguards gave final warnings and left the beach.
Guys, watch out!
3 young Chinese men went swimming in Backpackers Rip.
People take that risk and I wish they wouldn't do that.
The men were rescued by members of the public, but one man remains unconscious. He's not breathing and doesn't have a pulse.
Just get back.
Off-duty lifeguards saw the commotion.
Mate, I was just after work swimming at Bondi and just seen the helicopter flying around Bondi, so I raced over and sure enough there was a resuscitation in progress in the south corner.
Even if I was off duty, I still help people. It's one life. There is no price for that.
Paramedics resuscitate the man using a defibrillator.
I got a look at him as they were walking up the beach and he wasn't looking real good at that stage.
He has a pulse and is breathing, but remains unconscious. It's unclear how long he was underwater.
We put such a big effort in for those 13 hours of the day to make sure everyone goes home safe, and when you hear of something happening after hours, it can be devastating.
A day later, and the man remains in hospital in a coma. Head lifeguard Hoppo believes inexperience led to the tragedy.
On pack up that night, there was only one small rip down south where Mario did the rescue during the day. The rest of the beach was quite calm and flat. So what I think happened was the 3 walked into where that small rip was and then eventually couldn't stand up and started panicking.
Today, news of the man's condition has been relayed to the tower.
So how is he going? He's been in a coma for about a week and they're flying him back to China today so he can go be with his family. So I thought I'd let you know.
Yeah, it's just as I said, it's a fine line, you know, when you come down the beach and play in the water. Life and death. Well,
that's pretty heavy. Hey? Yeah. It's heavy. Yeah. You boys did a good job though. Yeah. You know, pretty sad.
The man isn't expected to survive. Mario was the last lifeguard to leave the beach, just minutes before the man drowned.
Yeah, I wish I could help him before, you know, like, it's very sad. This moment got me, I don't know. I had quite a few, you know, in the years of lifeguarding. I don't know why, it's just so close, you know, like, it's very touching.
Body just washed up on flat rock right in front of my eyes.
Late afternoon, and the swell peaks at 10 feet. But the period between the waves is deceptively long.
This alert tone went through and we heard North Bondi, so myself and Jake immediately looked over towards the Ben Buckler area and noticed people up on the point pointing out to the ocean.
A call comes through to the tower. Minutes earlier, an eyewitness filmed 2 people venturing out onto Ben Buckler Headland.
Oh my God! Got a call on the phone saying that there was an unconscious patient in the water off the back of Ben Buckler. So myself and Beardy launched a ski.
Went to the boat ramp and I immediately saw a lady who had cuts all over her legs. And so I just went straight up to them and started asking questions, and that was the lady who had been knocked over and was missing her husband.
We knew we were in for a difficult task. You know, the ocean was aggressive, the rocks make it even more of an unfriendly environment, and we knew that timing was pretty critical. The clock's on for survival.
The lifeguards are desperate for information about the missing man. But his wife is Russian and doesn't speak English.
As it happened, somebody spoke Russian, so I had an interpreter. I basically asked her, can you show me where you went swimming, or can you show me where you were? As we went to start walking to go and pinpoint this area, body just washed up on flat rock right in front of my eyes. My initial reaction was, oh my God, there's a body right in front of us all. I've got to go and get it, and I'm by myself. The emergency services were up on the hill, and I'm not even sure if they saw it. So I went to go and get it, but the next wave washed the body back into the water.
The risk of brain damage becomes more likely after approximately 5 minutes without oxygen.
It is critical we get in the water and start conducting that search.
You know, he's still got a chance, so we're going to sort of do everything in our power to try and bring him back. We sort of restarted our search around that area, and Beardy jumped off with a mask and some fins and sort of was swimming around.
More police and paramedics arrive. This is now the most critical rescue of the season.
It's very confronting to know that you're about to jump in the water and you're looking for a body, and there's a very good chance that you're going to find him. I had to tell the other boats to move away from me, because if I'm diving under and I have a boat buzz over the top of me and hit me, well, I'm just another patient.
Between them, Jake, Beardy and Chapo have over 40 years of lifeguarding experience.
It was just a really dangerous position because it was on flat rock and there's 8-foot sets coming through. So visibility was almost zero.
The water was murky. You see a shape and your heart rate's going through the roof. You're coming up, you're hearing the crowd. It's really amazing how your senses just start tuning into everything. I've got the waves washing in my face and I decided to go down. This is where I'm confronted with the gentleman who's stuck on the rocks. I try and grab him, but I can't seem to free him. I have to yell out to Chapo, you need to give me a hand, I can't grab him. Me and Chapo are able to free the gentleman. And there's a lot of current pulling against us, and there's so many things that are working against you. We're fighting to try and pull basically a dead weight up on the back of a rocking jet ski was really hard. Jake was able to manoeuvre that jet ski perfectly to give us the best opportunity of getting this gentleman up the boat ramp safely, and safely for ourselves.
Jake's driving was sensational. And then another legend from nowhere, just a bystander, came and helped me and Beardy, and me and Beardy had the arms and he had the legs, and like we couldn't have done it without him.
Beardy immediately begins resuscitation. It's now been over 20 minutes since the man was swept into the sea.
We have to start CPR, and we're not going to stop until the paramedics come and tell us not to. You know, once they worked out where we were, they were very quickly to take over and give this guy every opportunity. And they did everything. They tried really hard in a really difficult situation to basically bring this guy back.
After 10 minutes of CPR, paramedics pronounce the man dead.
This is just a really tragic accident. Unfortunately, this couple had ventured out in an area that they were unfamiliar with. You know, their intention wasn't to come down to Bondi with any risky behaviour. They were just not informed about the power of the ocean. For me, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to be involved in that situation and actually see the gentleman pass away, really, and in front of his wife. There's nothing more that we could have done. This particular incident, the odds were just against us, the gentleman, but operationally I couldn't be more proud of our team.
He was losing his colour and, you know, he was fading fast, and just gave him some oxygen. I thought it might have made him feel better. And
Christmas Day, and Yatesy races to a swimmer drowning in Backpacker's Rip. The man with tattoos is a member of the public who has come to the rescue.
The waves were just going over the back of his head. He was standing, but I could see in his face, you know, you just tell when someone's sort of freaking out.
It's amazing that people can drown in, you know, water you can pretty much nearly stand up in down here.
Put your head forward a little bit more. Let your head in between your legs. That's it, just like that. And keep the breathing up, really slow and deep.
when Troy went up to him first, he probably felt okay.
Try it out. Okay. Not dizzy? I had too much alcohol. Oh, there we go. There's...
And then 5 minutes later, he was worse, and this got worse and worse. This is what happens.
The patient said that he breathed in a lot of water while he was out the back. And the concern for us is that he might have secondary drowning. That's when someone swallows a lot of seawater and it actually sits in their lungs. And a few days later, you could die from water on your lungs. You know, that's why we take it really seriously.
He was losing his colour and, you know, he was fading fast, and just gave him some oxygen. I thought it might have made him feel better. And oxygen's like medicine. After 5 minutes, his colour came back. It was awesome.
I'm just, the people are very strong, and I was very tired, you know, and I lost my control. You know, where I come, we don't have the sea. It's the sea.
He's unable to move his arms or legs. If Leo stops breathing, lifeguards will be faced with a terrible dilemma.
Guys, we've got someone pulled out of the water unconscious. I think the IRV jump off.
A man has been dragged from the surf. Within moments, lifeguards make a diagnosis.
I think it's just a suspected spinal. So the boys are just going to run back up here and grab the spinal board and some equipment and head back down.
Dean attends Leo, a 28-year-old Brazilian man. He's unable to move his arms or legs.
Tell him to keep his head still, very important.
Não, fica com o olho aberto, olhando para ele, movimento sua cabeça não, fica assim.
And did he dive in the water?
I didn't see.
Oh, okay, righto. And how did he get pulled out of the water? Did you see that?
The boys took him
They
out.
just dragged him out? What?
It appears there was just one witness.
Tried to go for a swim, but he hit his head on the ground. Olha para ele, fica olhando para ele. Tá sentindo o seu braço? Ele meio despeito. Movimento sua perna aí. Seu pé. Movimente ele o pé. Consegue não?
Leo is part of a Brazilian dance troupe. He is due to perform tonight.
Let's just leave him, just like that. Just relax. Is he alright? Yeah. Relax. Tá de boa? Tell him he's doing well. Está de boa, tá indo bem, man. Just relax, deep breaths. We know it hurts. Got to be brave. Jake, I haven't touched the patient as of yet because he's got no movement or feeling. I'm reluctant to do so, but maybe they can advise whether they want me to package him up or not.
Dean hasn't packaged him because he said he's got no movement.
So he's got no feeling at all.
Olha, respira devagar porque você está pegando o oxigênio, brother. Você não precisa respirar tanto não, que o oxigênio está te ajudando, está respirando para você. Só tente respirar devagarzinho. Must be some big problem with his breathing.
In extreme cases, spinal victims can lose the power to breathe.
I just hopped off the phone with the ambulance. They're about 6 minutes off.
Well, ladies, you know, if he stops breathing, we're going to have to start doing CPR.
If Leo stops breathing, lifeguards will be faced with a terrible dilemma. Resuscitating Leo may damage his spinal cord further.
You know, we need an amber here, ASAP, mate.
G'day, mate. How are you?
What language does he speak?
Português. I'm trying.
Okay.
Sua respiração tá boa, mãe. É só o seu oxigênio tá bem. Não se afobe não, que tá tudo de boa.
Squeeze my hand, Leo.
We went for a
Squeeze my hand.
swim. He can't feel anything, mate.
How did he get out of the water?
We pulled him out.
Right. Did he walk at all or move his
Nah.
arms or legs?
Nah.
Not at all?
He couldn't move anything. Right? Okay. His chest is hurts. His neck and his chest.
So you can feel his chest. Anything else? Any pain down his
Tá
stomach?
outro lugar doendo? E aqui na frente? Tá sentindo aqui? Não? Nada? He can't feel anything.
Tell him to move his feet.
He can't move anything.
Reidy, you're going to get a chopper.
One, two, three.
A spinal board will immobilise Leo on the way to hospital.
1, 2, 3, back.
Tell him we know it feels horrible. It's awful to have something across your chest. We need to do this to keep him nice and still. It's for his own sake. Be upset.
Ela colocou um barro no seu braço. Já tá em cima da prancha já.
Oh, goodness.
We're going to look at Mark's Park. We're going to transport him up to the ambulance, and then from there coordinate a landing area.
That's really upsetting for me to see. He had no movement or feeling below the neck, really. You know, I just kept in there basically and tried to really reassure him, and I wanted to do everything, you know, as much as possible to give him every chance to walk again.
A chopper is the smoothest way to transport Leo to hospital. The only hope is that Leo's symptoms are caused by severe swelling and not an irreparable break.
Touching him and he just had nothing. She was poking him here and he could feel that at the end, but that's so sad.
Lifeguards wait for news on Leo's condition. In the tower, word comes through on Leo, the young Brazilian with no feeling in his arms or legs.
The police, Bondi police rang, and they said that guy yesterday for the spinal, he's quadriplegic. Yeah. He just called to say, like, let us know.
That's terrible.
It's been a week since 28-year-old Brazilian dancer Leo dived headfirst into a sandbank.
You can't feel anything.
Tell him to move his feet.
You can't.
He was left with no movement in his arms or legs. Now, his friends have come to visit lifeguards in the tower.
What actually happened to me?
He jumped for dive, and it wasn't that the accident. The accident was actually after he started to dive.
And then he didn't
Yeah.
like this. Oh, okay. Yeah.
We decided to go for a swim. We went for a run to dive into the water, and then we just realized that as we swim, we will go up and start to walk back. On the look back, he's still under the water. One of the boys tried to pick him up, and he's realized that he wouldn't come. Yeah. So then he's turned him around, and he was like struggling to breathe. And it was such a beautiful day. It was so funny because we got up. I got up and I went to their house, and we got there, we make breakfast, and we feel positive, like, let's go for a big workout, let's go to the beach. And our vibe, our energy was so good that day.
What I wanted to ask was what's Leandro's future prospects, like where is it at?
It's a 1% chance of his recovery, ever being able to move his arms or legs again. But they also did say to us that there was the same slim chance of him being able to recover his breathing, which he has. He's completely breathing on his own.
Oh, that's awesome.
He has recovered incredibly rapidly in that respect. So, you know, we have hope. But obviously it's going to be a long-term recovery process, treatment, rehabilitation, care. So there's a lot of costs involved.
It's really hard for us to go to the hospital and see him because when we get there, he keep looking at us. He keep telling me how good I look. And he keep asking me to buy him some protein shake, like supplements. Like he's believing in his mind that he's gonna be okay soon. He's a very spiritual, positive person.
It's very sad. It's one of probably the worst things I've had to deal with in my lifeguarding career.
Oh, really?
He's such a beautiful big guy, and I knew, and it was just
fitness.
And he knew. I could see him on the beach. He had these tears in his eyes. It was just.
Yeah, one thing it does definitely give you the biggest wake-up call, and you feel like every single step I take, I should be thankful for. The fact that I can scratch my eye if it's itching. You know, you just got to give thanks for every single moment that we're healthy.
Hey, Will from Bondi Rescue here.
True from Bondi Rescue.
If you want to see the latest episodes from the latest season,
We've launched Bondi Rescue memberships.
sign up now, link below, and join.